Well, good morning and welcome to episode 43. I enjoy the Italian writer Italo Calvino. He has a very unusual style, and I've read four or five of his books, which are more like freestyle essays. And his writing doesn't allow you to become bored. He leans toward varying approaches that are vague at one moment and then extremely specific at another. And his thoughts drift as his incredible imagination takes over, and it becomes like a roller coaster ride. He swiftly changes direction and is on another subject or trajectory. He sees the imagination as a repertoire of the potential and of the hypothetical. He views that every form of knowledge draws on this gulf of potential multiplicity. This writing comes from Calvino's book, Six Memos for the Next Millennium. He is abstract, meticulous, adventurous, unpredictable, incomplete, imaginative, and oddly enough, exacting. He's a joy to read. Now, here's a very strange coincidence that occurred on March 31st of this year, and I'd like to know what the odds would be of this happening. There are two players in the NHL, the National Hockey League, with the same name of Sebastian Aho. One is a defenseman for the New York Islanders, and the other is a forward for the Carolina Hurricanes. In real digital time, Sebastian from the Islanders scored at 7:14:40, and the Sebastian from the Hurricanes scored at 7:15:14, which is only 34 seconds apart. And both of these goals were the first goal of the game that gave their teams a 1-0 lead. And as if that's not enough of an oddity, back in 2018, Sebastian Aho from the Islanders got a hooking penalty on Carolina's Sebastian Aho, which was labeled an Aho on Aho crime. I don't know who came up with that. Sebastian Aho on the Carolina Islanders is from Sweden and is 6 months older than the Sebastian Aho from Finland. That was quite bizarre. When I apologize to someone, not usually my wife, I then follow my apology by saying, I'm fairly certain that I will make the same mistake again and again, so just remember that, so I don't have to repeat myself. So as we're shopping for a new mattress and platform, we tell the salesman what our price range is, and he's scrolling through the options, and I ask him about a particular platform that looks appealing, and he quickly responds with an overly enthusiastic, "Oh, you really like this one, eh?" And I replied by saying, "Not if it's not the right price. You know how salespeople can be, especially when they're young." I've never been a big fan of award shows, but I happened to tune in to the portion of the 2022 Grammy Awards, and I'm not particularly well versed on much of the latest music, but that may be changing, since I was quite impressed with some of the performances and how down to earth and talented they were, especially the performance by Justin Bieber, Daniel Caesar, and Giveon of the song Peaches, and Her, whose real name is Gabriela Sarmiento, as her performance toward the end of the show was also memorable. And Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak's music was quite impressive also, as they took the Grammy for Best Song. I have to admit, they educated me and sent this old music fanatic who was out of touch a message: don't overlook us. And as I said previously in one of my videos, music either has it or it doesn't. And from what I saw that night, most of the music was very solid, memorable, and has that it factor that I'm referring to. I'll be tuning into a bit more of today's music. I was roused by what I heard. These musicians and producers are not playing around. They take their productions very seriously. I'll always remember the 2022 Grammys Award Show. It was good stuff. And lastly, if I tell you a secret, I just proved that I can't keep a secret, and I will stop here.